August 7th. Ooh, this is the anniversary of my dad's death. That was a pretty intense day. It was pretty violent because he had a tube. He was on a respirator to help him breathe. He died. What took him was the most common, number one cause of death is the medical system. And so he was on the drugs that they would give to try to do what they try to do with the heart if they see there's a problem, and it's all fake and they try to kill you, and so they succeeded. Well, when I think about it, pretty much all the family that I was really close to was killed by the medical system. Yeah, I'm left. I'm pretty much kind of the only one left. My brother and I are estranged. We've always been kind of apart and separate. I've always wished that he wanted to be in my life more. And having said that, with my dad, with his death, the day that he died, the very night when they pulled the tube out, um, it was pretty violent, right? Well, first of all, he gags really easily. When just brushing his teeth, he'll gag. I'm the same way. I don't know. It's the gag reflex, and it's weird because you don't have to, but it does it. But anyway, so he gagged. He was in a coma, you see, but his functions, his bodily functions. See, I know that when people are in a coma, they're totally aware of all of the realms, really, and they're aware of you and all the thoughts they can be. They could be in another realm of knowing or knowing. And so, anyway, he couldn't speak. He couldn't breathe on his own, I guess, without that tube. So he was kept alive until I got down there, I guess. Well, really, it was, until I guess everybody got together and they announced, well, we're going to take the life support off. And we were all sitting at a table, and I remember I thought, oh, this is going to be very gnarly because he's still breathing, but then now he's going to like go through convulsions right in front of us and all this stuff. I totally warned everybody about that. And I was like, okay, folks, this is going to be, prepare yourselves for this movie. And who would want to be there with that? But see, that's what ended up happening for me. And see, now, this person, he was not really available to me. It's hard to explain, but he is kind of my first loss of the love of my life because he could not be with me. But see, even if I was there visiting his home at his other place with his new wife, which we did, he still wasn't available to me. Not really. He has narcissism because of his early childhood upbringing, possibly very early, that he couldn't help. Well, let alone being circumcised at an early age. That's fucking men up. Oh, that is traumatic abuse that they can't even put their psyche or they can't pinpoint the trauma to undo it. And there's a scar there forever. That forever scar is a symbol of the fact that they will be forever kind of like a little bit off, and who knows? Who really truly knows about that around us, is particularly women, right? I mean, what do they think? That their dicks look like that all the time? That's just the way that they look? No. It's like, in effect, they're taking part of your nose and they're clipping it and they're saying, there, then now that looks normal. Anyway, God, I don't know why I'm talking about this. There's still a mild Mars square Venus in the sky. It's very difficult. And then we have Mars going into Cancer. Sorry, pardon me. I'm a Mars ruled person. I don't like when it's in Cancer. Cancer doesn't like what's in Cancer. It's a bad place for Mars. It's horrible on women. The mother, the nurturer, the home life, the peace of it, the bubble that it should be of protection. Now Mars is there. Now, see, there's where you have to know that, well, like my mother, she had Mars and Cancer too, and she went through domestic violence, but anyway, so back to my dad on the deathbed here. I remember, see, I was so close to him, but then I had to lose him, and it's because circumstances beyond my control. They have their karma, right? All of our parents are just people, and they're trying to be people in the world, and it's really difficult. The monetary system is basically a cage that holds us captive, let alone we are having to deal with our own rib cages, that holds our heart captive, perhaps, and we have to learn how to use all of that. And good luck being held captive by a government that cuts your fucking dick off and totally ignores that there's women here having these children, birthing them. Now, back to the subject matter that actually woke me up that I kind of contemplating. It's 4 in the morning. I'm doing my regular recording that I'm going to have to put like once a week. I don't know, buy me coffee, but it's not going to increase anything here. You can increase my vibrational frequency into who I really am if I made $2,000 a month away from the passive income that I'm trying to make here with my home. That would enable me to um, play my music. If people think that they need music from somebody, you don't even know what kind of music I'm capable of. What I've been doing in front of you is so fucking pathetic. But I'm able to do it like that and talk about it like that because I know how great I am. I know that I'm already accomplished as a musician. I have recording that some people have heard, and I don't need to prove myself to the world. I really don't. And anyway, that's not what I'm doing here either. See, this is being recorded, and it's like an archive that people can look into forever. And one of the things I was going to talk about right now is is kind of like is the subject of, I don't want to call it homosexuality. I want to just say sexuality. Because homo um, puts something in front of it that might be tainting just the fact of sexuality. Now, I think it's obvious to me that I already said this. Men should take care of men. Women should take care of women. See, no matter what, if you call it homosexuality, sexuality, whatever gender, no matter what, there's always going to be the fact of that in order to reproduce, a man must meet a woman, and a woman must meet the man. Okay, so, and with that, I've been describing the natural order of things, that she does quality control. She's the leader here. She's the main protector of him. If they were to start hanging around, she has to protect herself from him not being able to protect her. So she has to like train him into being the protector. And now, if all is good and well, he's not a narcissist and abused and this and that, and already installed with traditional ideas, that he's coming to her in the natural form of, I need to know, I'm blind, I'm trying to get back home. And see, this is the religion here, by the way. He must seek to become more and more intelligence in accordance to his master or God, which is, I'm sorry to say, but the woman embodies love. She somehow, if she's born with a pussy and can give birth to children, she's born privileged. She's born into position of power, something she did in her last lifetime, which grants her that in this lifetime. This is well known in the East. It's called the ladder of sexes. Sorry, the ladder of success. Sorry, I think it's sexes. Yeah, there isn't anything ain't like success unless you're a pig in the fucking field over there being farmed by who knows what, and they're eating them on the side. I don't know. Is the episteme file still open? Yeah, that's open for a reason. You're supposed to be completely transparent, and that's what I'm kind of being. I'm saying, but see, I'm telling you my experience too. I would love to open up a separate playlist or a channel. I guess you can do that and monetize it based and just say this is my autobiography. This is what I'm talking about. That I was my own great grandpa in my last lifetime. I built this home that I'm sitting in, and I completed a soul pact with my daughter, who was my great grandma. A beautiful experience, and I'm still in contact with her. And my higher self, which is my own great grandpa. Believe it or not, this is what's really trippy. And we can't really explain this stuff, but we try to, and then it sounds all fragmented and weird and impossible. But we'll continue to talk. We are going to continue to talk with the fact that Uranus is in Gemini, and Uranus is the higher mind that can actually communicate these things. Some people are capable of communicating something in such a way that it's like, oh, what did you say? And some of us are like, well, I can't say it exactly the same way I did, but let me say it a different way. You know what I mean? So that you can, I don't know, that's just sometimes we hope that you don't ever miss us when we say something. And that's why I'm recording something. Recording. If anything, sometimes it's out of an hour, you'll catch 3 minutes of something very important, and that's why I press send. I know the importance of communications, man. I am surrounded by people that practice the satanic work of being quiet and non-expressive, and dumbing people down when they have emotions or any kind of need of expression. That has got to stop, man. Ooh, coming up with Mars and Cancer. Oh my God, there's going to be a movement that's kind of violent. It might be against the motherly love and the nurture and the need for for the need to create that protection system and sanctuary. Just going to get violated. Or here's another thing that happens with people with Mars and Cancer, particularly women. They get so protective, like mother hen. Oh, talk about kind of like, is that violence? No, see, they're protecting themselves. Yeah, the woman will totally experience that who has a Mars in Cancer. They might have been violated so hard that that's what they end up being, is just a fortress that protects itself. Unfortunately, who knows if they're repressed? They're not really letting love into them. They're just this, but it protects the kids. But see, the kids, they need to escape out of the fucking the wall, out of within the walls, and start being vulnerable and experience, because it's none of their business. And so, like, getting back to my dad and my mom and my dad, who he was and stuff. See, the main thing I remember when they took that fucking thing out, and he's sitting there spasming, and I knew, like he's dying, and I got up close to him. This is so pathetic. This is a sign of how emotionally distant he was to me, and how I hungered for contact from him. I wanted him to say something to me for one last time. Please tell me. Because the last time I saw him before his death was not a good experience. But it's because he was sick. But see, he kind of has all. I'm sorry. Just he was kind of a rager, kind of a narcissist, right? And the one that would really tantrum. And see, but he was a Taurus. And see, Tauruses are naturally like that. They're hotheads. Yeah, they're scary that way. That's the fixed signs. And Taurus is number one. The bull, the bully. And I don't know, I would say some women like that. They like to be around this steaming, musky thing that Oh, he drinks and gambles and smokes cigarettes, but see, he quit all that before uh, I was born. He was very much always working on himself and trying to be better, I think. In fact, he was. He's just by the time I'm born, he's 46 years old. And he was a probation officer for 12 years. He helped a lot of people being a hypnotherapist. He was trying to help himself, and he knew all about that personality emotionally being sealed by the age 3. That's your initial psychology right there, and that could be destroyed in a heartbeat around just. It doesn't have to be particularly hard and violent in the house. Just be around idiots that say no all the time at the wrong time, and they don't let that thing be free, the kid. They don't know what freedom is. They don't even know what a kid is. They're not even fucking human themselves. See, that's where I know my dad didn't go wrong with me. See, it's difficult. And now, all I can do is empower myself about that sensitivity about men. And by the way, sexuality is normal. I think that being a homo is like being isolated to anyone is kind of abnormal. Yeah. There's maybe a psychological hang up there that could be isolating the people to just one, whether it's the opposite sex or the other. There is a mental illness there. Otherwise, sexuality is sexuality, and you can heal yourself and others. See, you can have sex with a bicycle. Some people are doing it. Their money makes them freely masturbate on whatever it is that they've spent it on. Hi, men doing money with women and women chasing men for money. Would you stop, by the way? Stop it! Start taking care of each other. Men take care of men and women take care of women. See, the thing is that men, I've met a man, I have his picture over there. He used to talk about the narcissistic men. Pardon me while I check the volume here, okay? The men that were they're just narcissists. They are not even accomplished as a human being. Okay, so they were destroyed when they were younger, and they're masking. See, it's hard to like have sympathy for these people and be on their side and say, "Oh, you poor thing." But see, that's what I can do. See, that's a woman can do that. See, a narcissist, which usually it's isolated to men, that disease. It's a mental illness that is in place of who the person can really be if they weren't so told no all the time. And see, that no telling starts with, I think it's starting with the mother. Yeah, there's the influence of the mother, and that's why I pick on the mother. I said, would you guys just lay off a bit? You guys are narcissists having kids. And what that is, see, what it is with the mother is idolization, the first idol. The little boy can get very attached more than the girl because he's reaching for his intelligence. He wants something. He wants what she has, right? And all she can give him is who she is, which she does feed him. See, this is not known either, but this is the truth. In the East, it's well known, and they used to live in tribes where this was easily done. The mother, if she's healthy, she has a profound responsibility to almost violently push the little boy away, off the teat, and into the man's world. Men there are taking care of each other. And one of the ways, see, it's not a mystery. They're not isolated away from knowing that they need women. That in fact, that's their home. And it's not their mother. No, I'm talking about women that they will be seeking to maybe have sex with and then breed. Maybe, right? Maybe. Who's to say out of so many people that every single body should they will live the satisfied fulfillment of having kids? No, I say it's like, wait a minute, there could be something we're missing with that because we're being farmed, we're being hijacked. Otherwise, we would have a natural order that says It's almost, see, I'm almost going back to the king and queen. Right, right. Yes, you have a woman and a man that has kids. See, now I'm talking about like, well, now is this the royals over there who does inbreeding, interbreeding? Babes, I don't know. I'm 52 in next month on the 26th. Hi, Kim Cass. She has the same birthday as mine, and she's one of the first people that sent me a big $100 is a lot of money, and just thank you so much for doing that, Kim Cass and Nancy. Nancy was the very first one that ever sent me money when I first got my Cash App. It took me a long time to finally get my Venmo, Cash App, and get monetized on Facebook, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to monetize ourselves away from the system that doesn't want you to know anything about anything. Okay, you don't call it homosexuality, you just call it sexuality, babe. Sexuality is normal. Now, what's abnormal is to isolate it to, like, try to say that men and women must get along. It's like, babes, they don't though. Sometimes it's just an opposite. You would hate to be on the woman's side, men, because a lot of women, they talk behind their back and they say how stupid they are, and they're all like this. And you think that we are weak physically, and you're like, we don't want nothing to do with you. And none of that is true, though. See, it's kind of illusory here. Like, you know how a woman can be a bodybuilder and she can start bench pressing like 250 pounds or something, and then there's the nerd man over there that's like, what is he? Like any man, really, the average man who says women are weak, and then she's like, huh? And right? I mean, it's all very illusory here. And when you're being farmed by an enemy, oh, they want nothing of your potential, nothing of your truest God-given design to come out. They do not want the virgin version to appear. And you don't know what the word virgin means. Virgin means original design, the unfucked with version. That's all it means. It doesn't have anything to do with a sexless person, like a fresh woman, or no. No, it has to do with the programming there, and then you can align and you can start working God-given design, which is highly geometrical, perhaps. You could say, like, Indians call virgin territory. They say that's fresh land, untouched. But its original design is available. You can start working with it, and you can start harmonizing, and you'll get the full effect. See, and you shouldn't, we will not be calling it in 20 years if I have my way and I start the trend here, and I don't know what's going to happen, how that's going to happen. People have to get miserable enough, and then they start accepting the real science, the real truth. You know, you're being misled, and see, they words are just metaphors, and when they say Mother Earth, you'll see that the M is always capitalized. They don't mean the narcissist mother over there, the one that you can't possibly like after fucking age 4. You want to escape from her. What did she do to everybody? You know what I mean? Mommy, dearest. They made a movie of that. Now, getting back to that very real phenomenon that it is the mother, ultimately, okay, what is called, it's the first idol that is worshipped by both the little girl and the little boy, but the little boy is susceptible somehow, see, because he has something he needs to install in his mind, which is true intelligence, real intelligence, and he can't really get it from his mother. He has to go in a roundabout way. So I'm telling you what you don't know about how that's what's ruining all of the world society itself. Well, is one of the very, very potent thing is to isolate the boys to the mother, particularly, like, just she gets all the kids. The church's family version suggestion, where people are getting married and then isolate yourself, that's a form of social distancing. They're trying to find out ways that we can just keep farming them and don't let them come together and figure out how to live here and keep your well-beings intact. We have a population that doesn't know what well-being means. They don't feel well. They don't feel anything. A narcissist, okay, so if your dick is grabbed and then cut and then fucking skin thrown away, do you think that that person's feelings were hurt, or did they feel it? Yes, they did. And they cry. They are injured right there. Ooh, they are violated. No woman should let that happen. No, it's not normal. That's a dead woman. There's a dead woman society out there that allows abuse to happen and she says nothing. And when children and other people observe that, woo! Now you might as well just continually fucking slap yourselves in the face until you fucking just turn into a goddamn retard. How do you like this performance? See, what I am is a motivational speaker, and it doesn't turn off. I know how to be practical, and I go about my business, but each and every time I open my mouth, I'm trying to motivate somebody to think a little bit more past their programming, past never even questioning, past their sleep. And I'm currently getting rid of people that don't appreciate it out of my life. I've never had to have that in my life. I've never actually had to hang on to an abuser. But I'm experiencing what it's like and what these people are like. Now, what people? People that are not even there. They are not a real person. And see, I know that phenomenon is there, and what it is it's people that live in lack within themselves. Within themselves, see, they don't have their inner child intact. So your inner child is your original self. It's okay, so you could say it's your virgin self, virgin version, who is playful, curious, always wants to share when they find something, especially when it's making them feel good. They're like, look, 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 and they play, and they're humorous, and they're interactive, and they're concerned. But see, all too much we've seen it. I don't know about you, but I'm 52 years old, and I'm being very adult-like, just saying we have to communicate now on the devices and pass this on. I was younger when I noticed that kids are cool, right? They're interactive, just like I said. But more and more, when I got older, I noticed when I was able to interact with them, they were being destroyed at an earlier and earlier age. In other words, there would be something replacing it there, already in mechanism of survival mode as a narcissist. Because they were destroyed, there would be something there that I don't want to interact with at all. That's a control freak, a fucking asshole. And they're converted into that earlier and earlier, and so, like, as early as possible, it seems. Otherwise, you would have a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old is a genius. And they are reaching for their creativity, and you just let them go. You give them what they need to work with things. Give them real things. If you can, show them hands-on with yourself, like yourself, with real things, until their hands can wrap around it, make them know that it's there. See, a lot of narcissists are putting blindfolds on. Not only there are blindfolds, and then if a kid gets next to them, they're never going to see anything. The narcissist wants to control everything in and out, and by the time the child gets to 5 years old, and this is when they authentically want their own mind and make their own choices, and they start testing it. See, a narcissist starts to argue with it. They have difficulty with that child because it's getting older than a narcissist. There's a society of people out there that they've lost their inner child. It's not even there. So you don't even experience that there's one that's crouching down like this and just shut down. You've seen that picture, right? On internet where there's two adults that are sitting with their backs with each other, and they cannot talk with each other, and nothing's going on, and they are the child sitting there like this. But inside of them, there's a child they're both turned to each other, and they're trying to get to each other. Sorry, I'm about to cry because Oh my God, I'm around a society full of people that have been abused way bad than I ever have. I don't know. We all have trauma when we're a kid. We all go through it, but some of them have been so emotionally destroyed because they're around people that don't allow themselves to cry like this and continue to talk. They don't face the waves. They don't be there with each other. They're so involved with making money and their performance level, whether it's military, religious, education, whatever it is. You know how harmful that's been. To make the man the leader of the household and the woman is tied to such a responsibility that's just thrown out the door because it's civilization coming through her. I'm sorry. Whoa. Hello, Mars and Cancer. I'm sorry, this fucking world is no fun for people that know how to have fun. Because it's full of people who don't have any self. So there's nobody to have fun there, and there's nobody to have fun with. You cannot appeal to these people because there's nobody to appeal to there. All there is it's just an undeveloped person that sits and see. You can experience this, see, but you can experience it just temporarily, though. See, everybody can fall into the very southerly pathological narcissism, and you can experience jealousy, like, oh, you're not good enough, and there's always lack. They always have something more than I do, and I have nothing. See, the thing is it's not about things. It's about your inner sanctuary and what you have there. Your ability to reach into information field and become satisfied with tapping the truth. They don't have that freedom, so they're working the money scene, right, which gets them like a fake version of satisfaction, whatever it is. The makeup life, right? That breaks down after, right? The money scene is not doing much for us. Not now. It maybe had an intention before, I don't know. You get the idea that it protects it protects this ideology thing that's going on, where now they're opening up a church and they don't have to pay taxes, but you give them money, and they're talking about a false idol. See, because the only one that we should be worshiping is the woman who is not a narcissist. Now it comes into my mind because they always talk about it, right? The prima donna or the whore. See, what's the prima donna? The prima donna is so-called version. She wouldn't even have kids. I don't think. She would just say, hold off a bit, learn to love each other. I love your kids. Let's take care of each other. I don't know. But if she has kids, it doesn't mean she's a whore. She is she's somebody who's knows it's safe to have the kid. She made the place of sex safe for her. Getting back to sexuality, her sexuality was able to be completely relished, right? I mean, it's a delicacy. Her side, see, there's two sexes, right? And they are opposites. So that means they're opposite, whatever you can think of. If it's black, then the opposite is white. If it's fast over here, this one is slow. And oh yeah, that's the woman's place. Yeah, it's weird because I didn't just say that men don't know how to have sex, although they need to learn to have sex with a woman. They have their sex that's like this, and they can have it with each other that it's like that. And I think if you're a healthy woman, oh my God, minute 34, isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting what they're doing over there? I mean, because if you're a woman attracted to men, of course it is. And an erection is fascinating, isn't it? It's the hell of a compliment. You're like, thank you, you know. See, a lot of people can think this is sick when you look over at the homosexuals. Now, are they homosexual, or are they just playing with their sexuality, which is like that, the way they do is very like a game. Well, it's like for men, it's different. I mean, we can talk about it for another half an hour if you want. How they are. Every woman knows it's like, well, 30, 35, 75 seconds and they're done with the orgasm part. And they could just wear out and just, it's called petering out. That's why they call it peter. It petered out. Just, it didn't last. See, women are artists of prolonging pleasure, and if a man can't learn that, then it's not fucking breed worthy. If he can't figure, see, it's not breed worthy. You don't breed with it. You don't reproduce it. If it can't figure out a patterning, that it must be consistent. See, this is now we're getting in the world of, do you want a civilization to come out of these two? Well, do you want better? Yeah, do you want an I civilization? What I mean is like a smart civilization. Otherwise, you're giving birth, you guys are breeding without having even achieved any kind of frequency of intelligence that radiates into the fetus. Feeling good is number one, and the woman is not going to pass up her ability to feel good. Fuck no. See, a man does it like this, and it could just railroad her, and she's like, huh? That's the truth. I'm speaking for like 89% of women right now who don't have an orgasm so easily. She requires skill. Talk to her, find out what her name is. See, I think that women that are highly promiscuous, if you look close, they have an orgasm really easy with just only penile penetration, and it's almost like good for her. But you know what? They kind of turn into sex addicts. They are kind of the problem of our side, the woman. See, they give us a bad name, but see, these ones too. See, they're not able to train a man into that patterning that is needed. Everybody's different, right? But see, now it would be a no good match if there was a woman there that required skill and just even her feet are an erogenous zone. It's not just her vagina. And you're not just gonna be using his pecker. Everybody knows that there's oral sex, right? Now let's look at the story of Lilith in the Bible. Yeah, I live in a town where they changed the name of the rock into Lily. See, I live in a town where people are totally ignoring what's really here. What's really oring here. What I mean is like as an ore, as a precious thing that this mountain mines is very strong, alive women. And I get the feeling, if this is the truth, it just has yet to just come together and wake up. Wake itself up and say, excuse me? This isn't a fucking dog town, babes. Your dogs would have been eaten. Okay, it only turning into a dog town, hardly 3 years ago. COVID-19, people are like, oh, let's emerge out like narcissists and take over and do this. It's like you're ignoring what's really here, Hans. Now, speaking on the dog subject matter, no, I know what it is to have a good companion there who looks you in the eyes and is totally loyal, wants to run up to you. And I had a dog for 16 years. I've had dogs all my life. Did you know that the veterinarian industry, no, it's an industry now, especially the dog part. See, you can't do this to cats. They just kind of run away. They're trying to do it, and it's like they're going to incarcerate people if you don't neuter your cat. And I kind of get it because you don't want a problem. But see, if you're a responsible human being, it's like, no, I'm not letting her outside this time or something. And it really, don't those animals have a right to life? You know, I mean, like at least one. But no, they don't. See, there's now since the dog crisis, I was wondering. Sorry, because it's the truth, and I hate this. I was wondering, Hal, How are the animal shelters doing? They are packed and they're killing dogs every day. Why? Well, because narcissists get dogs but they really don't want a dog. They want attention, man. Those dogs get attention from people and they're like, and that's all they get it for. But they don't know how to have a fucking dog. They know how to pick things up and put it down just for attention, and that's it. And their children can be treated the same way. I'll just pick them up for their use and then put them down, not even get to know the subject matter at all. They're like that with just everything. Everything. See, they can't even drink a fucking glass of water or eat a meal. You can't watch them because it's like and it's like, is anybody there enjoying anything? No. I would love to continue to tell you how that's the truth and that you have a backdrop of people that aren't there. It's artificial intelligence and it uses a lot of water. It uses a lot of resources and never asks, why is the water bottled? They just keep running and they buy the fucking packs of bottle and going through it and go to work and come back and they don't question or examine their lives at all from cradle to the grave. That's artificial intelligence. It's a big problem on this plane. And something that farms it up says, yeah, I know, we don't care about that. Hi, Epstein file. Am I doing good? Ooh, they are afraid of me. The interdimensional monsters that are very parasitical, they hate me. They do. And if you have them in you, you're going to automatically be like, why can't I get energy from this fucking person? Like, why can't you just give it to me like I've always been stealing it from her? Why don't you just give it to me? Because I recognize that. I can see it. I never had to deal with it ever in my life. So, getting back to my dad, that moment, all I could do is observe myself wanting to hear something from him. And he was taking his last breath. He was turning blue. He was like, and I'm like, and it was like his head was turning towards me. I was like, huh? What happened? And so now he's laughing. I don't know. And so now I'm pretty sure my particular life goal that is surrounded by fear is to connect with a man that can see. I've had platonic relationships with men. No, I've already had it once before. Yep, no, this man I was with for 14 years, he whispered into my ear some things. He began to realize what I was, and so I was crying, and no, he was great. He whispered into my ear and he said, Shauna, he had his lips right to my ears. He said, girl. He could see how hurt I was about my dad, and my dad was still alive at the time. See, my dad just never called. Never. I thought about it just last night or whatever. I'm like, and these people, we don't get together and we don't talk. But see, you don't take it personally that they abandoned you. Basically, they were abandoned. There's nobody there, and so there was nobody there, and so you're gonna feel that even when they're there. And it's a weird feeling. It's disturbing. It's actually gonna ruin your life if you think you're gonna get anything out of it that reflects anything that you need. It just can't. It won't. Um, it's not capable. It's been damaged and it doesn't have that part in them. It can kind of perform but when it comes to the deeper subject matter, it gets triggered. You'll see. There's just I don't know. My dad, Taurus people. I don't know. Is it narcissism or is it just a bunch of stuck-up fucking selfish people that are saying, no, I got mine and you gotta go get yours and something like that. See, my dad was kind of like that. It was sorry. So this was tough, but but I did have a relationship with a man that said no, that proved to me that it wasn't this person, he wasn't this man in my life that couldn't show up for me. Oh, that man, my boyfriend of 14 years, uh, who ended up getting shot and killed. Otherwise, he would have tried to made it back to me, and he would have done everything that he was doing for me the last 14 years, which he was a master mechanic, so I never had a problem with my car, and I never had to ask him. He would notice it and say, oh, I'm going to fix that tomorrow. And he would just get to it. He would just ask me, well, do you need your car right now? If he was asking me anything about, it's just he was there, and so after a while, if it's a human being, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, awareness is going to notice, and it's called confluence. You're kind of flowing in and out of each other. A narcissist doesn't know that. You'll see it's like, well, when do these people ever start working with us? They will never do that. They're working, if they are doing something with us, they're doing it for them because they want attention. They think they're going to get a reward. And it's not about the journey. It's not about the come together and having been there with each other and communicated. No, they're about performance, and then attention, please. And it's like, well, okay, take your coin, get out of here. You don't have a romantic involvement with them because they're not capable of that. And they will act like it, though. Sorry, I'm moving the light around it because it's moving around and I don't want it to just fall. Um, so there's that fantasy that goes on where there's just these dolly kind of people picking each up, putting each other down, picking each other, putting each other down, literally putting each other down. They'll put their own fucking taste down just because they don't know anything, and it may have been high quality because somebody else is bringing them that quality, but they can't handle it, and then when you realize that they're not handling shit, it all drops. They wonder, why do people turn on them all the time? And then why do people cling? Well, because you're making them codependent, you fucking asshole. That's the only thing you can do. See, they're manipulators. They don't know how. They are manipulators. That's how they get people into them, and see, they'll manipulate love into them. This is why they're so dangerous. And they don't know how to love, but they will start abusing that love that comes to them. And it's hard to tell who is who with that because they think that giving things like food, water, pay the bills is love. And it's like, it's a lot more than that. You can't just throw money and objects at a person and say now. when it's like, well, I don't have any money. What do you want? Oh, you want to rake my body over? You want sex or something like that? It's like, no, did you know that that's a completely different place? That's the woman's world over there. Or your world. See, do you want your sex or you want the woman? You can't take from her without learning. You have to learn how to be with her. You're going to rape her? Just because you gave her money? You're going to take from her and you're going to leave her unsatisfied. Don't do that. Woo! Everybody knows that scenario, man. She gets fucking pissed. She shuts down. She can turn into, if she doesn't go back to her sex, which is to get taken care of by the woman, she does it in a way that she's completely homosexual and she looks like a man and she's very thick and nobody's attracted to